welcome to another interview. Today we're going to be chatting to Brandon. Hi, Brandon. All right, cool. So, tell us how you got into the industry. What courses did you take? What was your experience right in the beginning?
Okay, well, firstly, when I decided I wanted to be in the industry, I was still studying, and I did a degree in hospitality management, and a few people that graduated a year or two before me, they ended up going into the industry, and we stayed in contact, and I heard a lot of very exciting and cool feedback from them. So that got me stoked, and so yeah, that's when I got the idea of getting into it. So.
Okay.
And so once I graduated, I went to Cape Town and I did my STCW and my powerboat level 2. And yeah, I mean, by that stage, I was approaching it with a pretty open mind. I was like, okay, well, I had more or less an idea of how it was done and how like people go over and dock walk. And I was ultimately gunning for like a cruise chef. I wanted to be cruise chef / on deck. In the perfect world, I thought that
Best
would
of
work
both
out.
worlds.
Yeah. And anyways, so I spoke to my cousin who was in the industry for a good couple of years, and just by chance, the boat that he was carrying, like he was chief officer on a 200-foot motor yacht, and their cruise chef had just given in her resignation, and she was doing her last few weeks,
Okay.
and he just ran it by me if I'd possibly be interested, and he would. So he said no guarantees, but he would put a word in,
Okay.
and yeah. So anyways, like cut a long story short, he ended up doing so, and a little bit of back and forth emails and whatnot. And I was extremely fortunate. And
Were you still in South Africa?
I was in South Africa at the time.
Okay,
Yeah. So I did my STCW, I did my powerboat level 2, and by that stage I was communicating with my cousin. I was like, okay, well, I'm going straight into. It seems like I could be going straight into a chefing position. So that was enough for me. So I was like, okay, and waited to hear back from him. And I mean, everything happened so fast from that. Like I think less than 2 weeks after that, I was on a plane and I was on the way to the States, to West Palm, and I started working.
Okay.
Yeah, so extremely fortunate.
That's really lucky, hey? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so
nepotism.
Yeah.
In its finest form.
Okay, but at the moment you're a deckhand. How did that happen? When did that switch happen?
It happened. I mean, the way that I thought I would go about before I entered into the industry, I had the idea that I would probably start on deck, and then hopefully get opportunities to come help out in the galley and eventually make that transition. I mean, I've always my passion is the ocean, and that was the largest appeal for me to work on a boat. I was just interested in being a yachtsman, and I love being outside and on the water, and so being in the galley for full time, it was it just played on me a little bit, and I mean, I loved it, and I had all of a sudden, like, I had this big budget and I could really just play around, and it really did spur on a lot of like creativity, and so as much as I was enjoying that, I felt a bit of cabin fever, and I saw the guys outside and they would come in sweating and laughing. It's just like a whole camaraderie thing going on. and I started on the boat with another 2 guys, and I saw how they progressed outside, learning a lot of things about on deck, and I was envious in a way. I was like, man, like they're learning, like they come down and we eat lunch together, and they're having conversations about what they're up to on deck, and they're speaking this whole lingo and like this like terminology that I don't understand. I'm like, damn it, I wish I could be involved in some way like with these guys. yeah, so that was my main driving point for wanting to make the move. So yeah.
Okay, so you just wanted to be outside rather than be stuck inside, even though you enjoy cooking.
I think I asked it took a long time for me to like, I had to ask myself, like, really, what do you see yourself doing, like, in the next couple of years? Do you really want to be working as a chef, like, in the next couple of years? I think that was another thing that was a bit daunting for me was my age, and I was like, damn, like, at the time I just turned 27, and I was like, well, that's a bit late to be starting on deck. I mean, most of the guys starting on deck are pretty young. They're in their early 20s or even late, like 19. So that and the salary was obviously going to be bumped down pretty significantly. But all in all, I think that, like, the idea of it just grew in my mind, and it did not go away.
Yeah.
And so
it was there for a reason, though. So.
Definitely feel like it was. There was like some, like, bit of a calling in the background. Like, I was like, man. Like, so anyways, yeah. So after a year of working full time in the galley, we did a Mediterranean. We crossed the Atlantic halfway through the year. Did a season in the Med, and it was intense, but it was super rewarding. Both experience-wise and financially wise, we my B1 B2, I had a 10-year US B1 B2 visa, and that expired while we were at the Med, and the idea was that I was going to, after our owners left the yacht, I would get a gap to go to Milan to US Embassy and apply for another B1 B2 just before we crossed back to the US.
Okay.
And myself and my two other crewmates, the three of us had to do the same thing. So we all went over, and we all got denied.
Oh wow!
The lady that interviewed all three of us Googled the boats, and the first thing that pops up was that it's a chartered boat, and that was that. She didn't really want to say much, just like, look, you chartered, therefore you are regarded as a it's not recreational. Man, I forgot what she said. But anyways, in a nutshell, she's like, I can't stamp you in.
Wow.
So yeah, after that, we all we watched the boat leave, and the boat was extremely helpful, and they were very supportive to us. Like, we had great captains, great chief officer, and they did everything in their power to help us and encouraged us to reapply. But obviously they couldn't wait forever, so they gave us a deadline, and unfortunately couldn't make the deadline. So
did you consider going to Madrid? Where did you end up getting your B1 B2 then?
So once we got denied, we started sticking our nose into doing a lot more research as to why, and speaking to a lot of people. And apparently it was generally just something that was going on in a lot of Europe. A lot of people were getting denied.
I remember that, actually.
Yeah. And basically what they were offering was that they would see it as if we were on charter anywhere in the world. Because basically what our letter said was that, okay, we are a charter vessel in European waters. The boat's based in the States. As soon as it comes over to American waters, we are strictly private. And the woman said, well, if you are chartered anywhere in the world, you're still considered to be a working vessel, and therefore they wanted to give us the same kind of, she said she could stamp us in as if we were a cruise ship and like a commercial vessel, and so that was not the answer.
Yeah.
So anyways, I went back to South Africa and I reapplied in Cape Town. My other two crewmates, the one went back back home, back to the UK, and was not very positive at all that reapplying would change anything. So that was pretty much it.
Okay.
And my other crewmate, he was French, so he went back to France. He reapplied in Paris, and he unfortunately got denied for a second time.
Oh.
Yep, the agency in Paris, and geez, just thank the Pope. I got lucky in Cape Town, and I got interviewed for probably less than 5 minutes.
Okay.
And I got stamped. He told me I got stamped. He told me he couldn't give me another 10-year stamp.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, well, not really. I'll take anything, I guess. So he told me he'd give me 5 years, and 2 days later, when I picked up my visa, I saw that he actually stamped me in for another 10 years.
Oh, okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
anyways, that whole episode took about 2.5 months
Yeah.
to get another visa, and that time I was in South Africa.
Mm.
So from that, I unfortunately lost that whole rigmarole, lost my job in the process, and and I took that kind of as, you know what, I was considering saying something beforehand to make the transition out on deck, and after all of this, I just took it as a sign. So,
Yeah.
okay.
It's funny, the universe just did it for you.
So, yeah.
And it's cool because now that you went through that experience, you can actually share that experience with others about the whole visa situation and like the fact that it was a charter vessel. And I remember going through, they stole my passport when I was in Ibiza working there, and it was so devastating because I had to get back to Palma because I was starting a new job there, but I couldn't travel. I just bought my ferry tickets. They stole my passport with my ferry tickets and all my money, and I was stuck. And I just remember thinking that there's a reason why this is happening. It really sucks, but now I know the process to go through. Like the things that you should do immediately, like you have to go to the police station and like do like you need all of that stuff. And I've been through it so that I can share that information whenever it happens to someone else. And it's like it's gold because it sucks at the moment, but there is a reason behind it.
And it's no joke, and it's daunting going in for interviews. And you know you could get shut down. It's nerve-wracking.
Yeah. All right. So my other question for you is, did you do any courses now that you've transitioned into deck? You said you did your SW, power boats. Has there been any more courses?
I never did any more courses. I wanted to. I thought about it beforehand, but once I got my visa, once I got past it, I got a new visa. I just felt like fire under my ass. I was like, I need to go back to work. I need to start this right now. No more procrastinating. I had already been sitting back home for over 2 months, and I was so ready to get back to work. So I came straight over, and I flew into West Palm. Put myself into a crew house and started networking as much as I could for day work, and I built up my experience slowly through day work.
Okay.
I day worked on probably, I think about 8 different boats, and each and every one just definitely built up a lot of my experience and my knowledge. Every boat works a little bit differently. It was a great way to start.
Yeah, that's really awesome. Yeah, there's a lot of people that come in and they end up finding day work, but they never find anything permanent after that, or they get comfortable in the position of just doing day work.
Yeah.
Okay, so one more question. Any advice that you can give to someone? Obviously somebody that's not looking to come into the industry right now, but like straight after this whole coronavirus thing. Do you have any advice for them? Like anything that you wish that you knew when you were just starting out?
Well, the industry is so competitive at the moment, and I think a lot of people know that once this is all blown over, there's going to be a lot of yachts when they start cranking back up again. They're going to need a lot of new crew, and everyone knows that, and there's going to be a lot of eager people wanting to get on boats, and I think the only differentiating factor will be what qualifications you have.
Yeah.
And that one extra course could separate you from another person. And obviously, it's just, I guess it's, once you get a spot, even if it's just be as reliable as possible. A lot of the time, it's a difficult one when you're day working and you're looking for a full-time spot, because you're working, and even though they may have a full set of crew, and it seems like, well, I'm just day working here, and I might be missing out on other opportunities, on openings on other boats where they are looking for someone, they have an open position. It's a bit of a tough one, because you never know what's going to happen. Sometimes it happened to me on two occasions on boats where you just, if you prove yourself, and sometimes they end up, I don't know, like,
no, it does happen though, like people that are day working and actually give it their all. I mean, everybody knows that they are looking for work, so, but they don't like, spend most of the time when they're supposed to be working on their phone. Like, they give it their all, they're helpful across the board. The first time that somebody hints that they want to leave the boat, like the boat will decide to grab that day work, because they've already worked with them, and they know that they work hard, and they're easy to be around, and they're just like overall somebody that they want on their team. So it doesn't really matter what it is that you do, just be the best guy.
I had a friend that was day working on a boat, that they had a great team of crew, and no one wanted to leave. But he stuck around and he gave it his all for a long time, to the point where the crew and the captain, they'd all grown to so fond of him that they ended up taking him on as an extra crew member. So he would work during charter. He would work half of his time inside, doing a lot of laundry and a lot of interior work. Mixed with a half and half, so outside on deck with the guys. And
wow, that's amazing.
Becoming a jack of both trades.
That's really cool. That's awesome. All right, cool. Well, that's it for me. Thank you so much for sitting down for this little quick chat.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. Cheers.